بسم الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله تعالى فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. My dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you back to our Hajj presentation. Today is the day of the 27th of Shaban, 1444 years of the migration of the Hijrah of our beloved Prophet ﷺ, which coincides with May 17, 2023. We are at a point we have discussed the declaration of the state of the Haram, and inshallah we're going to proceed towards Mecca to perform the Tawaf of the Qudum or the Tawaf of the Umrah and the related rulings with regards to the Tawaf, inshallah ta'ala, in today's presentation. Arrival at the airport. Assuming that you're going from here directly to Jeddah and you're going to Makkah via Jeddah, you have to understand that this is a tiring journey. You will be tired. So you have to prepare yourself for a long wait, because usually over there, sometimes the bus coming and the bus getting ready, and sometimes the bus breaks down. A lot of things happen. So we have to be patient. We are going from USA, so we are used to customer service. We might not get it there. But remember that these brothers and sisters, they're working tirelessly to make it easy for our Hajj. So we should make dua for them and we should be patient. And please remember that from the time we declare the state of the Ihram until we reach the Makkah, we should be engaging ourselves in Talbyah, and Talbyah only as much as possible. Loudly, men and women, as much as possible, will make the Talbyah. A lot of people at this point, they take the opportunity to criticize because they are upset, they are tired, they don't like the way things are going. They think things should be done this way, things should be done that way. And many of their discussions has good pointers, but this is not the time to do that. People also at this time, they are upset and they start abusing, cursing the king, the prince, the authority, and how worthless they are, etc., etc. All of these things are not needed at this point. At this point, you are in Hajj. You are not here to criticize the muluk or the kingdom. And by criticizing them at that point, you're not going to change anything. Nothing is going to change. But what's going to happen is you're going to miss the precious moments of your Hajj and you're going to regret it later on. So please keep remembering that Talbiyah is the most important thing at this time. Labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik, innal hamda wa ni'mata laka wal mulk la sharika laka. Remember that the Hajj is jihad. Hajj is jihad. It is a struggle. And at this point, we should not get angry, because anger will lead to frustration. Frustration might lead to fight, and fights might demolish or disrupt a lot of the rewards that was due for our hard-earned money that we are putting forth to make this blessed journey once in a lifetime. Going towards Makkah, these are the typical buses that is usually from Jeddah will take you. This is from my Hajj journey. I just took some pictures, and as you can see, there are a lot of people, a lot of organizations. They're very charitable. They give these free meals, which is a box of water, cookies, dates, and things which can refresh you, and you're hungry and can calm down your hunger. And these are all good things that happens in the Hajj, that people sometimes neglect and they only focus on the negative things. So let's be positive, inshallah. And yes, the Hajj has mashaqqa, but this mashaqqa is nothing compared to what our forefathers went through. The Prophet ﷺ, when he made the journey from Makkah to Medina to Makkah for the Umrah and Hajj, it almost took them a week. And us, we are crossing the Pacific or Atlantic, and it takes us almost like less than 24 hours to reach the destination. So when we compare ourselves, we are actually in luxury. Even with all of this mashaqqa, we're in luxury. So we should not try to complain about the negative things. Before we go to start the Tawaf Al-Qudum, I wanted to focus something here with regards to the Kaaba. This is a a picture from the top, and I wanted to, I'm sure the brothers and sisters are familiar about this, but wanted to, um, you know, uh, bring something to the attention here, inshallah. First of all, as you can see that Makkah has four corners, the Kaaba has four corners. This is the north, and please look at my pointer, my mouse, it has that red dot. The north is this way. So these two corners of the Kaaba are the north corner, or known as the Shami corner. And these two corners, of course, would be pointing towards the south. So this is the north corner, the Shami corner. Why is it called Shami? Because Sham is in the north. Syria, Lebanon, this is the area of the Sham. That's why these are the Shami corner. And these are the Yamani corner because it is pointing towards the south, and Yemen is in the south. So these are the Yamani corner. Out of this corner is known as the Yamani corner, although both are Yamani corner. But this is the Yamani corner, they call it, and this is the corner which is the black stone corner. This is the door of the Kaaba. This area between the black stone corner and the door of the Kaaba is important because there is an action here the Prophet did, and you can do that if possible, which is called iltizam. We're going to talk about that, the iltizam here, and how to do that. This is the door of the Kaaba. It has no significance. People here grab and stand. All of this is not from the Sunnah. Then you have this semicircular area, which is known as the Hatim or the Hijr Ismail. This is basically the Kaaba extended. The original shape of the Kaaba was inside the Hatim, or the Hijr. But the Quraysh, when they were rebuilding the Kaaba, they ran out of halal money. So they stopped here. So this is the cubic size that we see, but originally it is not. The Prophet Ibrahim's foundation is much larger than that, and he had two doors. And the doors were not high from the ground. Two doors, people could enter and exit. So, that description has been changed, but anyway, this is the Kaaba. The most important thing here to keep in mind is that what I'm going to show you now is the tawaf. So the tawaf starts from the black stone and ends in the black stone. So it will start from here, and I'm going to put a picture, sorry. Okay, let's go all the way, and you have to go around the hijr. Around the hijr, sorry about that. And you go all the way. And you come all the way here. And this is your, basically the end point is here of the one round. The reason I drew this color lines here, so that you know that you cannot make the tawaf through the hijr. Some people might think that, oh, it would be easier for me to go this way. So, okay, let's draw another color here, maybe green. So if you do your tawaf like this, not acceptable, because actually you're going inside the Kaaba. You're supposed to go around the Kaaba. So the original shape to keep in mind is the hijr is your boundary. You do not go here, you go around. And usually it is not possible to go through here because these are always barricaded and closed, and only at special time they open for the people to come and pray here. So this is the most important thing. As for the Kaaba, let's look at the next slide. Okay. Oh, I have to remove this, sorry. Bother us. Okay, so let's remove them. Okay, was there. طيب, Kaaba. Can we seek blessings from it? We can kiss, and if we cannot kiss, we touch with a stick, or if we cannot do any of that, we wave at the black stone. The Prophet also used to make sajda on the black stone. So this is the only thing that we are supposed to kiss or touch with our stuff or wave at it. Okay. As for the other Yamani corner, which is one before the black stone corner, if you are able, you can touch it only. No kissing, no waving at it, only touching. As for the iltizam is to cling to the place between the corner, black stone corner, and the door. Place your chest, face, and forearms like this. Chest, cheek, and forearms like this. Cheek, not the face, cheek. This is where the Prophet used to stand, and let's go back to show it. Which area is that? Okay, this is the iltizam area. This is the area of the iltizam. So you do not do iltizam here or anywhere else. It is only this area if you can, because sometimes there is a lot of traffic and we are not supposed to push and harm the Muslims. Nothing else should be touched for tabarruk or seeking blessings. So people sometimes touch different parts of the Kaaba, the sitter of the Kaaba or the covering of the Kaaba, and trying to seek blessings from it. These are all bid'ah, and it can even lead to shirk. Praying inside the hijr, equivalent to praying inside the Kaaba, but there is no special reward recorded by the Prophet ﷺ. So what do we mean by that? You know that the Prophet ﷺ, he entered the Kaaba and he prayed inside. Now we cannot do that, but we can enter the hijr, because as we said that the hijr, this area is basically part of the Kaaba. So anybody who goes inside here and prays facing the Kaaba this way, then he is basically praying inside the Kaaba. So this is the sunnah. Okay, it's a special sunnah. Is there a special reward for this? We know that praying in the haram is 100,000 times more rewarding than praying in any other mosque. That's a general statement we have. But is there anything special for praying inside the hatim, except we know that the Prophet prayed inside the Kaaba, so we're praying inside the hatim because it would be equivalent to praying inside the Kaaba. Caution, lots of myth that you should not believe in. For example, they say the door of the Kaaba is the door of mercy. That's why you will see a lot of people that are hanging onto the door of the Kaaba, touching the door. All of this is not from the Sunnah of the Prophet. The golden rain gorge, there is a golden rain gorge from it is actually, it's a very nice gorge, but this is basically a spout coming out from the roof for the water, because you know the Kaaba is flat. So if the water keeps on piling up, it will harm the roof. So that's one of the ways to get the water down. That's what it is. But people say this water dripping from that you see spout is basically water from Jannah. Is there any proof on this? Nothing. It's a lie. They also say Hijr is the grave of Ismail alayhi salam and Hajar. Is there any proof for this? Nothing. They also claim that 70 prophets are buried between the Rukun meaning the black stone, and the Maqam Ibrahim. Is there any proof for this? Nothing. But people usually use these facts, myth, not fact, myth, to basically support that you can have graves in the masjid. And this is why they build mazars in many countries, because they claim that, yeah, well, Kaaba has it, so why cannot we have graves in our masjid too? And all of this, of course, is shirk and bid'ah. Also, there is a very famous myth. In Kaaba, when you pray, you don't have to have sutra. There is no sutra in Kaaba. Is this true? Nothing like this from the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Sahaba. Yes, if the Prophet said it, it's from Allah, we're going to believe it. But there's nothing like this. Also, they say the tahiyya of the Kaaba is the tawaf. So they say there is no tahiyatul masjid, because we know that when we enter the masjid, we are supposed to pray 2 rakah. So they're saying when you go to Kaaba, you don't have to do that. You just do the tawaf. Is this true? No, it's not true. The Kaaba is a masjid. It is the best of the masjid. And all the rules of the masjid, in general, what applies for any other masjid applies for Kaaba. So I'm going inside the Kaaba. I'm going to make the dua, Allahumma aftah li abwaab rahmatika. And I will enter, if possible, with my right foot in. And then, I'm not going to make tawaf. I'm going to sit down. So should I pray tahiyatul masjid? Of course. We cannot sit down until we pray 2 rakat tahiyatul masjid. So let's not, go by what people said, what we hear, what we thought, what this website said. And sometimes, these articles are written on the website has no proof. They're just talking and talking and talking without any evidence. So it's very important for us to choose the right source materials. And even when we choose the right source materials, we read it with proof. On reaching Makkah, so now we are making Talbyah all the way until we reach Makkah. When we reach the Makkah, when you see the houses of Makkah, you know that you have reached Makkah, your Talbyah should stop. You should stop the Talbyah. Some people, they say you don't stop Talbyah until you go to Masjidul Haram. Some people say until you see the Kaaba. Some people, they say until you start the Tawaf. All of this is not correct. You stop the Talbiyah when you reach Makkah. You don't have to directly go to Kaaba to do Umrah. Some people, they think that once I reach Makkah, the first thing I have to do is to go to the masjid and do the Umrah first. Not necessarily. If you can do it, that's wonderful. That if you can, if you wish to, but you might be tired. You might need to take rest. You might need to take a shower. You might need to sleep. All of this is fine. You might need to change your ihram clothes to another new set of ihram clothes. So many things you might need to do. You might need to rest the whole day. So you reached Makkah on Thursday. People ask, do I have to do the Umrah on the same day? I heard I have to do the Umrah on the same day. Who says that? You can do Umrah next day or even in 2 days, but all these days you have to stay in ihram. That's the point. So there is no hard and fast rule that you have to immediately or in a certain period of time you have to perform your Umrah. Otherwise your Umrah will become invalid. There is nothing like this. And one of the key pointer here is do not rush with your Umrah. Because in each journey you have only one Umrah. And it's like a gold. If you rush through it, you're not going to focus with dua. You're going to hasten. You're going to be tired. You're going to just get it done with. And this is not the way to do Umrah. Unfortunately, we treat our salat like that. We just want to get things done with. And that's why our salah doesn't have any effect upon us. So we have to change our attitude. And Hajj might be the stepping stone for changing this attitude, inshallah. That you should take care of your prayer, or we should take care of our prayer, our fasting, everything like the way we take care of the Hajj. When you enter the masjid, say the dua. Allahumma aftah li, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Say the salam upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Allahumma aftah li abwaba rahmatika. Similarly, when we are exiting Masjidul Haram, we say Allahumma inni as'aluka min fadlik. And salat upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you can, you should directly go to start the Tawaf of Umrah. So, you entered the masjid. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he did is directly went towards the Kaaba and started the Tawaf. That is the sunnah. But is it required? No. Let's say you entered the masjid and in 10-15 minutes, they're going to start the salah. If you know that if you start right now, you have to break. What should you do? You want to wait? That's wonderful. But now you want to sit down. So you pray 2 rakat tahiyatul masjid and you sit down and you wait for the salah. However, if you say, no, I want to start the tawaf, then you don't have to pray the tahiyatul masjid because you're not sitting. You go directly and you start the tawaf as the Prophet ﷺ did. So when you are ready, after you sit down, after you pray and all that, basically you start your tawaf or you immediately start the tawaf, inshallah ta'ala. But the point over here to remember that tahiyatul masjid is also valid and legal and must be prayed by the hujjaj or the musalli before they sit down in the sahan or in the courtyard of the Masjidul Haram or inside Masjidul Haram. Tawaf Al-Qudum or the Tawaf of Al-Umrah. Al-Qudum meaning arrival. Tawaf of the arrival. It's also known as Tawaf of Umrah because this will be part of your Umrah. You start from the black stone corner. Let me put on the 1 second. Yeah. Okay. So start from the black stone corner. You can see from the picture here, I'm showing with my mouse. You can see my mouse and it has a red dot. This is the black stone corner. You start from here and you can see these numberings are here to show the 7 rounds. And you see it goes around the Hijr Ismail. Okay. So you start from here, uncover the right shoulder. For the men only, of course, uncover the right shoulder. And this uncovering, okay, tiba, is basically only for the Tawaf Al-Qudum. A lot of people, we mentioned that when we did the declaring the state of the Ihram, a lot of people all the time, they uncover their right shoulder because they think this is ritual of Hajj. It's not. And it's very dangerous because when we are supposed to pray, we are supposed to cover. Men are supposed to cover their both shoulders. So these Hajjis, they keep their ihram like this and uncover their right shoulder all the time, even while they're praying. And this is very wrong. So this uncovering of the right shoulder is only for this tawaf, not for any other tawaf, not also for the tawaf of the Hajj, only for Tawaf Al-Qudum. Uncovering the right shoulder, and you uncover it throughout all the 7 rounds. When we start from the black stone, we're supposed to raise our hand, the right hand only, and say, because if we can, we go and touch and kiss it. If we cannot, we are far away and we have a stick, as the Prophet did. He touched the stick, with the black stone, and then he kissed the stick. But in your case, most likely you will not be able to any of that because it will be a lot of rush, and it is not allowed to push and shove ourselves to go and touch or kiss the black stone. This is prohibited because through this, a lot of people, they harm others. They harm each other, the men and women, they push each other, which is all haram. We are not supposed to do any of this when we are in front of the Kaaba. So you raise the right hand and you say, Allahu Akbar or Bismillah Allahu Akbar. And you start the tawaf. The first 3 rounds, that is ramal, you jog. Men and women both. Some of the ulama, they say it is only for men, not for women. There is no proof to say it's only for men, not for women, but actually it is for both, if possible. If not possible, none of this is obligatory for the tawaf. The most important thing of the tawaf is you start from the black stone corner and you end with the black stone corner. If you have done that, then your tawaf is sahih. If you miss any other things, there is no problem. So raise the right hand only and say Allahu Akbar or Bismillah Allahu Akbar. Do that each time you complete your round. So basically you go 1, come all the way here. When you start the 2, you again face the black stone and you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar. If you can kiss. If you cannot, then wave at it with one hand. Do I have to kiss my hand? Not the people do this. Not from the Sunnah. Bidah. Some people, they raise both of their hand, they kiss. They do it multiple times. All of this is bidah. The Sunnah is only one time and that's it. No kissing of the hand. The direction of the black stone is lighted with green light and watch for sign on the floor too. So now, if you are making tawaf on the 2nd, 3rd floor, you might not be able to see the Kaaba or the black stone, but there is always the green light there, and you will see in the tawaf area, there is a location, everybody is kind of crowded. You know the black stone corner is coming because you cannot see the Kaaba. So you just follow that light, you face towards the Kaaba and you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar. The first tawaf, run from black stone to black stone. So this running that we mentioned in the first tawaf, it is not from, because there are 2 sets of narration. One set of narration shows that the Prophet did running from black stone to the Yamani corner. And the last one, which is the valid one, the last one he did, which is in his Hajj, he did the running between black stone to black stone. So some of the books of the guidance for Hajj, it says black stone to Yamani corner you run. No, you run from black stone to black stone. Black stone to black stone. Men and women both, if possible. If not, you walk. And then the rest of the 4 tawafs, you walk. The first 3 tawafs, ramal, jog. Next 4 tawafs, you walk. After the 7th tawaf, the men should cover their right shoulder. And this is, I highlighted it, underlined it, because it is one of the major mistakes in the Hajj the men do. Then you pray 2 rakat behind Maqam Ibrahim. This is the Maqam Ibrahim. If you can stand here and keep the Maqam Ibrahim between you and the Kaaba, this is the best place. Or anywhere here, you keep the Maqam Ibrahim and the black stone between you. But it might not be possible because there's a lot of rush here and you should not then do that because you're going to harm yourself and harm the people. So you choose anywhere in Masjid al-Haram. Anywhere you pray. You don't have to literally keep the Maqam Ibrahim between you and the Kaaba. If you can, that's wonderful from any location, but you don't need to. Anywhere you pray this 2 rakat nafal prayer, inshallah, will suffice. And again, this 2 rakat nafal is sunnah. It is not obligatory. Then go and drink a lot of Zamzam water. That's what the Prophet did. And take some water and put it on your head. For men and women both. After this, your tawaf is done. Now you are going to get ready to make the sa'i between the Safa and Marwa. But before you go to the sa'i, you, after praying 2 rakah, drinking Zamzam water, putting some on the head, you come back to the black stone corner again. And you raise your hand and you say Bismillah Allahu Akbar or Allahu Akbar. And then now you are ready to go towards the sa'i. But we are going to take a pause here and discuss a couple of things about the tawaf so that, usually the questions that come with the tawaf and things like that would be clarified. What to say during tawaf? There is no special dua, dhikr for each round in the tawaf, as some people, they recommend, and in fact, they will give you this thick book to recite all of these man-made duas. Reject all of these things, because this is what leads to the bid'ah of the Hajj. You are allowed to recite Quran, make any dhikr, tasbih, tahleel, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, sending salam upon the Prophet ﷺ, whatever. It's taught in general from the adhkar. You can say it there. And also make your personal dua. Personal dua can be done in any language. It doesn't have to be in Arabic, Bengali, English, Urdu, Swahili, any language. The sunnah is to say Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban nar between the Yamani corner and the black stone corner. So between this, as I show you here, between the Yamani corner, the black stone corner, you say the Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhaban. That's what the Prophet used to do. This is the only dua legislated we find. But if you miss it, intentionally or unintentionally, there is no problem. But here is the thing. All of these are sunnah, but you should try to do that, because this is what makes the Hajj, your Hajj will be close to the Hajj of the Prophet. But in case if you missed it, don't panic. Must not bother others by making loud dhikr, group chanting. These are innovations and sins and a great distraction for the other Hajjis. Why it is a sin? Because you see some people, as I mentioned to you, this group leader will say Allahumma, everybody say Allahumma, Salli ala. So think about this. There's one group from Malaysia, another group from Syria, another group from Lebanon, another group from Indonesia. Everybody is screaming around you. How are you going to focus? So by this, they harm. Actually, if they did their own dua in a very, by moving their tongue so that they can hear it, whatever, and without bothering each other, it would have been much better. Many of these people, when they go for Hajj and they're reciting this group chanting, I have seen sometimes they're talking to each other, joking, okay, and then just repeating what he is saying. Is this the way to do Hajj? And on top of that, harming the other Hujjaj, because sometimes you can't focus. All what you hear is people screaming around you, different things. Okay. As for the black stone, we want to mention touching, kissing it, making sajda on it, or touching it with the stuff and kissing the stuff, or waving at it. All of this is sunnah. It is not obligatory. It is not wajib. Don't kill yourself for it. Don't try to go near it if there is a lot of rush, which is usually will be the case. Sometimes men and women, they push each other. Sometimes women, they almost lose their hijab by the time they go and kiss the Kaaba. Is this from the sunnah? This is not from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And just think about it. There are people who are tough and they can harm others who are weak. And Allah's Messenger ﷺ never allowed anybody to harm the believing men and women. So think about going in front of the Kaaba. Some people, they think they are a champion if they can go and kiss the Kaaba. We have seen sometimes some men, they go and fight and they kiss, and after they kiss, they give high five to their friends over there while in front of the Kaaba to say that I made it, I did it. What did you do? You actually sinned in front of the Kaaba. So these are very important things that we should remind each other. The Sunnah doesn't allow this kind of actions in front of the Kaaba. Flexibility during the Tawaf. First of all, continuity is not a condition of tawaf. Meaning, do I have to make all the 7 rounds in one shot? If you can do it, that's what the Prophet did. That's wonderful. But sometimes Hajji has to pause, has to take break in between the tawafs. Okay, and this break can be long and short or short. The 7 rounds can be divided into multiple breaks as needed and easier for the Hajji. The main thing is to focus. So let's say that we did our tawaf. On the 3rd round, I'm feeling tired, dizzy. I want to take rest. Can I do that? Yes. At any place, while I'm making the 3rd round, I can leave, take rest in the where somewhere in the haram if you want to do that, or if you want to go back to hotel, that's also fine. Go and take rest, come back. When you come back, you start with the 3rd round. You don't have to start all the way from the beginning. So that this break can be for tiredness, for sickness, for wudu. Some people, they want to make their tawaf with wudu, which is good, wonderful. You broke your wudu, you want to make wudu, okay, take your break and make wudu, and then come back, but you don't have to start from the beginning. Also, there's salah, prayer breaks, all of this is allowed. Some of the ulama, they say continuity is a condition. Is it a condition? Not a condition. And those who said it's a condition, some of them, they said, okay, if the break is small, it's fine. If the break is long, it's not fine. No proof for this. So the continuation is good, recommended, highly recommended, but not necessary, not obligatory. So take it easy, inshallah ta'ala. As long as you did your tawaf from black stone to black stone, black stone to black stone, and you did all of these 7 rounds properly, your tawaf is sahih. There is no clear proof to say major or minor purification. I'm sorry, this is not impurification. Major and minor purification is a must for tawaf. Okay. Only exception, women with menstruation or postnatal bleeding cannot do tawaf. Other than that, if somebody doesn't have wudu, or somebody had a wet dream and then he didn't take a shower, or she didn't take a shower, and he does the tawaf in that situation, inshallah, the tawaf is sahih. However, I myself would not do that. I would keep myself in the major and the minor purification, inshallah. But it is not a requirement. All rites during tawaf are optional. What do we mean by that? Waving at the black stone, kissing the black stone, touching the Yamani corner, saying Rabbana atina fid dunya hasana between the Yamani corner and the black stone corner, doing the Ramal in the first 3 rounds of the Tawaf Al-Qudum, exposing the right shoulder throughout the Tawaf Al-Qudum for the men. None of these are obligatory, but that doesn't mean that we should take it lightly and we should just leave it. No, we should try to do everything. But let's say some of these are missed here and there, don't panic. So for example, somebody came to the black stone corner and he forgot to say Bismillah Allahu Akbar. They panic. Say, oh, what happened? Nothing happened. You just continue. Some people, they even try to come back against the crowd, and that can cause harm, stampede, and a lot of things. So you don't have to do any of that. Take it easy, inshallah ta'ala. And always our teachers, they teach us the rituals or the rites of the Hajj are the easiest, are the simplest. So let's keep it simple and easy. Tawaf can be done in shoes. Is there a proof that the Prophet did his tawaf in shoe? There is no proof. However, we know that he prayed while he wore his shoes, and prayer is better than the tawaf, in higher position than the tawaf. So if you can pray with shoes, inshallah, you can make tawaf with shoes too. If ihram clothes or the clothes that you're wearing while you're making tawaf, what if it has impurity? If it has impurity, it does not invalidate your tawaf. Note, tawaf is sahih if the person doesn't have wudu, but it's recommended. And you know that many scholars, they also consider wudu to be obligatory. Similarly, tawaf is sahih, inshallah, if the person is in major impurification. Although I would be surprised if somebody is in their situation, he would go to the Kaaba because he has to pray, right? But let's say somebody forgot to take shower, forgot about it, and he made his tawaf. Now he realizes what he should do. He doesn't have to do anything. His tawaf, inshallah, is sahih. Um, Okay. I showed you the picture of the iltizam. You see, we should say that between the black stone corner and the door of the Kaaba, you see this man is standing with his cheek and his chest, and his hands are like this on the wall of the Kaaba. This is the iltizam. As for these people, what they are doing in the Kaaba, this is the bid'ah, and this is not correct. The next slide is about the innovations of the Tawaf. But I want to pause here, inshallah, and we will continue in the future session. Jazakumullah khair.